Yo guys, what is up? It's Teach here, coming at you again with another video over on Ark Survival Ascended. And in this video, I am going to show you how to easily use a glitch. Well, it's not really a glitch. It's more of a trick that you can use in order to defeat any purple OSD drop. And it's actually stupid easy. All you need to do is kind of figure out the strategy behind it using some Reapers and then just get a Karka, and that's all you got. I'm going to go ahead and turn my turrets off here in just a second just so you can see what I'm talking about. And that way you can kind of see what it's absolutely wild. So anyways, let's go ahead and get straight into it. So basically with a purple OSD drop, you can see that there is something that you can do to prevent any of the creatures from actually seeing the OSD drop. And that is to actually just put a circle of Reaper Kings around the outside. Now notice how you can see all of these creatures trying to get to it, but they literally can't get to it. So then all you're left to is just surviving on a Carcharodontosaurus. Now let's talk about the reasonability of this strat, right? So is it super likely that you can just make this happen? No, it's not super likely because you have to get a lot of Reapers in order to actually make it work. So Reapers can be a little bit hard to obviously pull because they don't have transfers available right now, but on unofficials, it's very doable. Now, the one thing that you also need to be aware of is you need to have a pretty good Carcharodontosaurus, because obviously you see me taking on a corrupted Rex and a corrupted, whatever it's called, a super corrupted Rex. And as long as your Carcharodontosaurus can take those kinds of things on, you're good. But if you can't take it on, then you really shouldn't be doing these drops. But you can technically do it solo, just because once you get this guy stacked for the Carcharodontosaurus, you're pretty set. But obviously, it all depends on a few different factors. So the big thing is all those Reaper Kings being in a circle will prevent all of the larger creatures. Carnos somehow find their way in no matter what. I don't know how, but they always do. There we go. There's a corrupted Rex. And yeah, so they'll just keep circling around the OSD drop because they don't know how to get to the middle. And because of that, it literally just means that you just have to continue. I mean, as long as you have enough health on your Carcharodontosaurus and it's got enough damage output, you can pretty much just slaughter everything out here. And see how they're just lining up for free. Now, in order to do this, and essentially just to tell you how to line up the Reapers, what you'll have to do is you'll have to put the Reapers on passive, and once the Reapers are on passive, you can bury them, and then make sure they're not on follow or anything like that, and just surround the drop, and the creatures literally won't be able to get to the middle. Now, the reason that this kind of strategy works is due to the fact that the only thing that can get into this middle is the flyers, so Pteranodons, Wyverns, and sometimes Carnos. But see how I've got 0 like spaces in between? This one right here is probably where that Carno squeezed in. As long as your Reapers have a solid circle, it literally means that nothing can get into that middle section. So that's kind of like the point of this. But again, it's super easy to do with a Carcharodontosaurus. And the only thing you need to watch out for is the Wyverns. Now, the secret with the Wyverns is as long as you're wearing Hazard, they can't actually breathe fire on you. They can only breathe fire on your tame. So see how I'm taking no damage right now? As long as I'm wearing Hazard armor, I can't be gotten. So those guys can't actually get inside. You see the Carno squeaked its way in. So you could be a little bit more, you could do a little bit better of a job than I did putting the Reapers stacked up. But reasonably speaking, you're going to need about 20 to 25 Reapers to complete a full circle around the outside of a drop. Yep, you saw it right there. So that little tiny crack, even though it's a tiny little area, that Carno was able to squeak by. Now, you're not super concerned about that, though, if I'm being totally honest with you, because that little area is not a big concern due to the fact that Carnos and any corrupted creature that's not like the Mega version or the Mech or Tech version only do 30 damage per hit. So you can focus on everything out, or else as long as only one gets through, and you can kind of just start going to pound town on all of the creatures that are out here. And usually the Carnos won't always get to the middle because they'll get blocked by something anyways. Like something else will be on the outside and block them. So, and really the only dangerous thing for these drops when you have this Reaper King strategy is to hit the drop yourself. As long as you're not hitting the drop yourself, see how I'm doing like 2,000 damage to these wild creatures? If I bite the drop, what's going to happen is I am basically just going to absolutely shred it, and it's not good. But if you're doing it solo, this makes it, now again, let's talk about the reasonability and feasibility of actually getting 25 Reapers in the ground in a circle before time is up. You'd essentially have to like throw everything out on the outside and just stare at the drop up until you can bring all of the creatures in at the same time, and then try and bury them as quick as possible. That's the only way you can really do this if you're solo. If you're not solo, it's much more doable because you can have someone defending you while one person sets the Reapers up, just like this. And yeah, super easy strategy. But again, the hard part is, waiting for the, and this is where a lot of people like it though, because you're waiting for those last few creatures that you can't locate. And it gives you a little bit of time to set back up, which is not a bad thing. So just, be aware of that. I'm going to go ahead and do a destroy wild dinos just so we don't have to, and then it'll go to the next wave just so you can see what it's like. But again, the only thing you have to be concerned with is the flyers, but because they do such a small amount of damage, just so you can see, I don't know what wave I'm on. I've just been testing this for the last little while. Wave 9. So that's wave 9, and we haven't taken almost any damage at all. And see how the wyverns also get stuck? If they're low to the ground, they're going to get stuck to the Reaper Kings as well. So it's a crazy strategy. It does work. I'm sure they will patch it, but I believe this was what most people did in Ark Survival Evolved, because you can get enough Reapers out there just to block a pathway. So if you don't have enough to totally, how do I say this? If you don't have enough to totally block off the drop, one of the best things that you can do is block off like one side, so you only have to block one pathway. Or even if you're in a good spot where there's only like 1 or 2 ways for the creatures to get up to you, then what you can do is just literally block off one pathway and fight the other with your Carcharodontosaurus, and then that's how you would easily complete pretty much any of these waves. Other things you can do, if you really wanted to help you set up, bring like 30 or 40 gates. And if you bring like 30 or 40 gates, which you, what that'll help with. Why is my Carcharodontosaurus starving? Oh, see how I did 1,300 damage to the drop there? That's the dangerous thing. It's not the actual corrupted creatures, it's your Carcha that will destroy the drop. Why is he starving? I don't understand. You have enough food, dude. Like, I don't get it, but okay. Yeah, and again, it's super easy to do this. But again, it comes down to time. Do you have the time to set something like this up? But as long as you have like 20, 25 Reaper Kings to make a perfect circle, you shouldn't have any major problems at all. So I wouldn't be super concerned with it. But you can see that I can sit here and just watch these things not be able to get to the drop, which is kind of hilarious to think about. They literally can't do anything. They're trying, but they can't. I don't even know what I'm getting hit by. Like a Carno under the ground. Weird. But the cool thing is, as soon as they do that, you just go ahead and walk up and then just start chomping down on them. It's a great way to do a meat run as well. If you haven't ever tried that strat before, you just do meat, hide, polymer, because you can get a stupid amount of polymer just by attacking these things. And yeah, you can see how easy it is. You can just literally put Reaper Kings up around the, oh man, I'm doing damage to the drop. That's not great. See how I'm doing that 1,300 damage? So don't let them knock you into the middle, because you will damage the drop. So just stay on the outside and attack them from behind, because they can't get in anyways. So, now, how could you do this on an official server? One, you're going to have to wait, obviously, until Apparition is released. But if you have all of your creatures thrown out, and Reaper Kings have such a low cooldown timer anyway, or not Reaper Kings have such a low timer anyways, that you could probably just make this happen, especially because people don't realize this, and you're going to call shenanigans on me, but people were doing like wave 500 just for fun on like PvE servers, just because it's like they all work together and they get these drops. Even though they cap out at 13, people just wanted to know what they could do. So already I know people are hitting level 100 without tricks like this, but this would make it so like you could literally just walk off almost. As long as you're like one person is needed. As long as you set this up with people, you only need 1, maybe 2 people in order to set this Reaper King trick up. So anyways, hope for this video helped you out. And other than that, teach.